Elise. My name is Sophia Harrington. I'm a spiritual teacher and a New Earth and Ascension guide, and basically I want to talk about this period of time that we're in, because honestly it's challenging all of us. I think I'm just calling in whoever needs this message, and also whoever's going through it who already understands what it is and just wants someone to wrap with. Spiritual awakening and ascension is about basically your life sort of falls apart to put itself back together again. So some of you guys might have been experiencing loss, losing your home, some loved one. Maybe they didn't pass away, but they just decided to leave your life, or you decided to leave their life. Maybe you're having a big transition in your career or your identity. There's some big shift where you're just realizing things about yourself that maybe you didn't know before. And you're basically being redirected back to the deepest parts of yourself. And this happens over time, and it happens through a lot of trial and error. I'm hearing that you basically have to be squished into a new shape to discover some of these resources that you carry within you. A lot of us just don't have any idea how powerful we are, how resourceful we are, until we're forced to pull those resources out. So Spirit, the universe, is pushing us into these experiences so that we'll discover new facets of ourselves. And I can say with confidence that I wouldn't be this version of me, even half this version, if I hadn't been going through crazy ascension and spiritual awakening for the last 23 years, especially in the last 10 years. The last 10 years have been extremely challenging and have kind of forced me to, I've had multiple ego deaths, and ego deaths are where you think, it's kind of like the Truman Show, if you've seen that movie. Jim Carrey thinks that he is this character, this person who has all these people in his life, and this is his world, but then he realizes that it's actually a facade, that's a TV show, and that, that these people aren't really his friends, and that this isn't really a community, it's like a fake, created environment. And what I'm saying is that when you have an ego death, it kind of feels like that. It makes you feel like your entire life has been a lie, like you're just waking up to some deeper truths that completely changed everything, and that you can no longer look at life the same. You can't. You want to. You wish you could. And I often say this. I wish I could, there's a part of me, at least, that wishes I could go back to the ignorance is bliss part, where you don't really know that there's some bigger meaning. You don't really know that you're an ancient soul having a human experience. You don't know that this kind of construct that we've created is false, isn't real. So this period of time is challenging all of us because it's pushing on us to pull new resources out that we didn't have before. And we're going to be challenged over and over and over again until basically we become the best version of ourselves. And so if you feel like you're being punished because your life isn't going the way you thought it should or would, it's not that you're being punished. It's actually the opposite. It's that it's kind of like when a teacher sees the best in you, and you've been like a rebel your whole life, and you just kind of gave up. Nobody really took you seriously, so you stopped taking yourself seriously, and then you meet a teacher who's like, nah, you're not getting away with that with me. I'm going to make you work for this. I'm going to pull something out of you because I believe in you. I see your potential. That's kind of what the universe is doing to us. The universe is like, I'm taking that away. You've had that for too long. You're not appreciative of it, whatever. It's not helping you. It's a crutch. Now I'm going to give you these new resources that you might not know how to use yet. And now I'm seeing the video game Zelda, where there's always things showing up in the forest or in the woods. Oh, I'm so sorry. But you could have heard me. But Zelda, is always on a quest, and there's always things showing up on the path, and I feel like that's exactly what it is with Spirit. Spirit's going to be putting things on the path for you so that you know that you're not alone, so that you have these new tools to now work from and work with, and basically those tools are coming from within you. The tools I'm talking about are wisdom, are resourcefulness, are wit, charisma. Maybe you're talented and gifted in all these different areas, but you've never been put in a position to try or to see. You've never been put in a position where you felt safe to share them. And this is a great example. I didn't used to go live. I've never gone live on Instagram, by the way. I usually go on TikTok, and I'd say anywhere from 100 to 900 people show up, and that's why I do it there, because it's a bigger group. But I didn't start going live on there to go live. I started going live on there for a separate thing. In order to unlock this thing I thought I wanted and needed that I don't even use now on the app, I had to go live twice for 30 minutes. And then I did it twice and became, you know what I mean? I realized it's something that I like and that I enjoy and that I'm good at. And so it wasn't what I thought I wanted, But ultimately it was what I needed, and it's what the collective needed too. And so this is what I mean. And same with reading tarot. I'm a tarot reader mostly. Usually you're going to see me on here reading tarot, and I didn't want to start reading tarot either. That was something I was guided to do, and I was resisting. I was like, well, I can channel messages. Why do I need to do tarot? Everybody's doing tarot, this and that, the other thing. And Spirit was just like, just do it. Just shut up and do it. And you know what? I loved it. I loved it, and I continue to love it. And I feel like every time we resist this path, it's just because an old part of us thinks that it knows better. And it's kind of like, I see spiritual awakening and ascension as an ego death as basically Spirit breaking down our ego, breaking it in like a wild horse. This wild horse, it's bucking and kicking, it's freaking out, it's taking people out. You know, it's not aware of the damage it's doing. It's just trying to protect itself. The ego is the same way. It'll do whatever it has to do to protect itself. That's why most people think of ego as, you know, someone narcissistic, because in essence, you can easily go there. The ego does want to protect itself at all costs. And so when you're ego driven, when your life is based around your ego, and you think your ego is your intuition, you think your ego is your inner voice, whoo, that's when things go horribly wrong, because basically it's this like wild animal, and you're letting it run your life, you know. And so when Spirit comes in and basically puts a halt to all that, that's when your life changes, because you're no longer letting your ego drive the car. Your ego's still in the car, but it's in the back seat, and now your higher self is driving the car. And sometimes your ego, trust me, even 10 years down the path, my ego still kicks and screams and tells me, you know, tells my guides, fuck you, I'm not doing it, because this path is very trying. You know, a lot of people, I'm grateful to say I'm not one of them, but a lot of people have to end their relationships with their partners, and they have children involved, and then they have to break up family homes. This path is not easy. And at times I think people, yeah, it's like, it feels like your life is falling apart. It feels like you're being punished. But really, what's happening is your life is rearranging to create the life that you want. So if you've had a really hard life, and you've just gotten, again, here with the ego will plug into whatever norm is happening. So if you've been in an abusive relationship, for example, it's easier for your ego to stay in that abusive relationship than to try to reinvent a new reality. Because it feels like whatever's normal is safe. And so even if that normal isn't safe at all, it's just normal. I don't know how to explain it. It would rather be homeless if it knows what being homeless feels like than be a billionaire, because being a billionaire is unknown. Do you know what I mean? That's the ego. So just keep that in mind as you're moving through your life. Right now is a period of great change and transformation, and it's important not to let yourself get distracted off the path. Understand that everything that's happening is happening for your benefit ultimately, and that if you keep moving forward in faith, you're going to unlock a lot of blessings in your life. And not only that, you're going to discover your true potential, okay? Like I said, I wouldn't be this version of me if I hadn't experienced all the things that I've experienced. It's really important for us to keep in mind that we are only as powerful as we allow ourselves to be. And so if we're staying stuck in an old timeline and we're allowing old paradigm energy to control us, we're only keeping ourselves stuck. We're not helping anyone. It's not serving anyone. So keep moving forward, knowing that this period of time is going to help you create the best version of yourself. That on the other side of whatever it is that you're dealing with is a version of you that you've always wanted to be. And that's what you're being guided toward right now. So keep moving forward, keep pushing through barriers of fear. We're pushing through not only our own fear, but other people's fear as well. So, because a lot of us pick up on the collective energy. The collective energy right now is insane, just so you know. I'm very intuitive, I'm very psychic, and I've been so overwhelmed by the energy the last few days. It's been a lot. And that's why I'm on here talking about this. Because you're not the only one feeling this. You're not the only one that's having things rearranged. You're not the only one that feels like you might be going crazy or being reinvented into a new version of yourself. Because that's basically what's happening. You're being reimagined through this experience, through this journey. And it's not a bad thing. It's not a bad thing. It's going to create a beautiful version of you on the other side. You just have to remain patient and keep pushing forward in faith, okay? And just know that there's a future version of you guiding you forward. So stay plugged into that. When you're struggling with finances or fear or old paradigms trying to pull you back, or you just feel stuck, just plug into the future version of you that already exists, because time isn't linear. It's not real. Plug into that version and let it guide you forward. And it's going to push you through some barriers of fear. You're going to have to go through fear. That's part of this journey. That's actually why we're going through what we're going through. so that we'll become the most vibrant, powerful versions of ourselves through the trial and error of this ascension journey. So keep pushing forward. If you want to work with me, if you feel called to my energy and you want to dive into some packages, some coaching, mentorship packages where we can work together one-on-one to help you identify areas of your life that some of you guys know that you're having difficulty, but you just don't know what the solution is. So not only have I already been through it, and I can guide you from a vantage point of having been through it, but I also channel messages from your guides and ancestors specifically for you. So instead of just being on a collective message like I usually am, it's going to be your angels and guides telling you what you need to do. So it can be really invaluable to anybody going through ascension and spiritual awakening, anybody who wants to invest in their own healing, anyone who wants to become the best version of themselves. This is a really beautiful way to transform your life in a shorter period of time, okay, between 6 weeks and 4 months, roughly. It could be longer than that too if you like, but basically we could work together every week, we could work together every other week. There's even a VIP package that only 2 people per year are going to get, where we would work together twice a week and have phone calls and unlimited emails and everything, where I'm basically just going to be all up in your business for 3 months. So if you want to have that kind of transformation, that exists as well. You can go to my website, either way, sacredmuseproject.com for more details. But either way, I love you. I'm sending love. I know this is not an easy time. Keep going, and I'll see you next time.